crikey, it's all four of us. The
And
planets
the
are
grey bag.
aligned.
In body, maybe not in mind.
And Ken's very suspicious looking background there, which we're not going to go into for legal reasons. Yes, I'm not having any of that. Right. Hello, everybody. It's welcome to Monday Night. It's your Plastic Crack podcast, season 4, episode 29. Blimey. Where did the time go? Yes. Big thank you to everyone that's watching us on the catch up. We do appreciate that. I'm gonna get other YouTube stuff out of the way. If you like the stream, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to all our channels because we're awesome.
We'll make videos again.
And someone's making videos again.
Bloody hell!
And has wrecked all our podcast
Yes.
bits and pieces. Yes.
Yes.
By changing his bloody name,
Which he still can't get right himself anyway.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Which makes me laugh even more.
Yeah.
As always, we are sponsored by Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. So if you go across to their web store, check out all their wargaming goodness and fineries and use the code PCP5 when you check out. You'll get an additional 5% off your order on top of a very generous discount on Ian's merchandise.
That reminds me, because Dom, you confirmed, didn't you? Because we had some questions last week about whether or not the PCP code would be valid on the day for CrackCon for in-store purchases, and the answer is
only for me, apparently.
Only for
No, absolutely. Anybody who goes to the till on CrackCon day and uses PCP5 will get an additional 5% off.
There you go.
Now there's an incentive to come to CrackCon. There really is. That's good. That looking forward to that. Dom, I want to see you try and walk past Ian's sales corner again.
He didn't have one last time, did he?
No.
So,
he didn't.
It saved me money, which was great.
Which is great because
I
just
pre-ordered a whole load of stuff instead.
Seeing you leg it out with all that Battlefront stuff was just absolutely hilarious. Here's a question from Leslie. Martin, is Ian stocking your new figures?
No.
There you go, Leslie. No.
That's right. I didn't. No, I haven't asked him. I don't know. I haven't asked. So no, there will be. Because there hopefully might be something happening before then for potentially release if the stars align at CrackCon. But there would be orders beforehand and things would be brought along, a bit like with the dice. But as long as
does that mean we all get a cut?
No, not a chance. You barely do anything to get towards CrackCon, let alone like someone else.
He barely even gets there, for God's sake.
You're lucky we even talk to you.
Ken, I think that the title on your T-shirt really sums your mood tonight. It's a bit of a wheeler dealer. Right, let's see who we've got in and has joined us on this rather wet and moist evening. Well, it's definitely moist here in the north anyway. I'm not quite sure about the rest of the country, but it's bloody grim here.
It's humid.
Right, so we got it's humid. It's just horrible. Anyway, weather aside, who's here? So Mark's here. He's working on some Austrian grenadiers. They're all white, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah,
they're all white.
All white on the night.
Yeah, I think I'll be avoiding those, Mark. Rich is here. Rich M, Laser Pirate Painting, Ham and Jam, Paul's Paint Shed, Red Steph, Andrew JF, Leslie's here, Lionheart, John Carter, Rogue Trooper, Carl's here, Glendua. No hobbying for Don tonight. He's having a barbecue in his backyard.
Good for you. Well
Good
done,
for you.
Don. It's obviously
Not
decent weather there.
They're saying not jealous or anything. Duke Wellington, good day from Oz. David Baker, Steve Harbour, who has come to the turnip side. He does. He has joined us. He is one of us now.
He's disappointed you, Dom, ain't he?
It's the insipid creeping doom that is.
Creeping doom. Jeez. Mike Jones, good evening from Norfolk. Marky Sparky, Adam Kirtley, Stummer Steel, Alex here. Hello, Alex. Hope you're doing well, mate. Simon Stokes, Barnes White, Roger Chrysler. Good afternoon from Southern Ontario. Mobile and Hostel. Joseph Kanadovitz, all from a rainy North Carolina. So it's not just here that's raining. Black's Clerics here. Hello, Blacks. Philip Hyman, Ian Wright, Double Dip, Yorkshire Dragoon. Hello, Tim. Hope you're well, mate. Mobile Hostel. Steve Mortzik, hello Jonas. Old School FRP. Matt Wright. Alad Roberts is here. Mini Agnostic. Steve Betts. John Sowerby. Daniel Moreno is here. Miller is here.
The beard is here.
Hope you're well. Robin Rose Hobden. Oh, it's done that thing again. No, it hasn't. Benjamin's here. Benjamin was actually Benjamin was first in the chat, so I think his initial message must have he wants us to trademark the word moist. Oh no, sorry, sorry. It says too much information. I thought it was. I really should have my glasses on. John Salby, it's moist in Miami apparently. Paul Parker, Mark, friends of General Haig. Hi, Andy, how you doing? And we're at the bottom. Have we missed anyone? No, I think that's everybody. So again,
go on, Steve. Sorry.
I was going to say a big thanks to everyone that's decided to share your Monday evening with us talking about painting.
But isn't it moist always though, Steve, when the PCP's on? It's always moist.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, it's only when
I know there's some weird things on the internet, but that would
drier than the Sahara.
No. It's only when certain manufacturers release new miniatures that the M word comes into play.
We will talk about that.
I think that's going to start in the news.
So I think it'd be positively sodden later.
Yeah.
I made myself feel a bit sick after saying that. It's disgusting. Right, okay. So we'll get on to hobby updates in a second. But tonight's subject is PCP painting tips. Now, this is something I've wanted to do for a while because, you look in our Facebook group and there's just so many fantastic painters in there. But everyone's got a different style, different technique, different. Sometimes I can tell who's painted something even without looking at the name. I know who's done it just by their painting style. So it'd be good to, share some painting tips. So what I've asked my comrades here is to prepare 4 painting tips or advice or general guidance. Ken, by the look on your face, you've forgotten to prepare 4 painting tips.
I thought of 3 in my head just now, so it's all good as long as no one else uses them.
Oh God, you just can't you cannot get the staff these days. You really.
No, I've done it. I've done it.
Good stuff. And then I've starred a lot of the comments because we've had some really good ones from the chat so far. So we'll be running through them in a little bit. In addition to our hobby updates and painting tips, there's the usual news where the M word will probably be getting used quite a bit. Usual chat and viewers' pictures at the end. And we've also got have we got OPC coming up tonight?
OPC, we have tonight.
OPC is coming up soon. What do you want to do first, OPC or our updates?
Do you want to mix it up and do OPC?
Yeah. Let's break the tradition.
Let's break routine. Hang on. Let me just finish and do the leg. There we go. Right. There we go. Right. Okay. Now, hopefully this is worked because I cocked this up, so Dom had to come in and save the day. Right. Okay. So let's see.
It was S, wasn't it? Everything S.
It was S. So this is the 18th.
Yes.
They've been doing this. They've done a year and a half of these now, and they had a gap, and they've had like a couple of months where it's been 2. So remember, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Warren, Paul, and Andy, they all get together and they come up with these ideas for the online painting challenge. There is no prize. It's just the fun of doing a group build together. And then we share the results on here. And if you want to know what's coming up, you can just go to the Facebook group, look at OPC or hashtag OPC, and you will see what it is. So this is from Warren. As always, he sent me the notes. I hope that everything is uploaded in the right order. We'll see. Dom did the uploading. So
I didn't know there was an order, mate. I just
clicked away.
So here we go. So the topic was est, and the challenge was to create something that represented some kind of est you could use in hobbying. There were 14 entries. Brackets, with sincere apologies for the atrocities committed against the English language rising to this challenge. So this was things like oldest, youngest, grossest, something like that. So
Snuggliest, moistest.
Let's kick things off. So Carl has done oldest and newest. He's done some 15mm classical Indian Army, and then he's done some US infantry for bolt action.
Oh,
That's
nice.
That's a stark contrast in time.
That is a very stark. Those
and color schemes as well.
Yes.
They are lovely. I love those engines. They are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Lovely. Edward has done strangest.
Yep, that's pretty strange.
I think you've nailed that one, mate. I think you've nailed. What on earth is going on there?
It's not good for the guy with all the kindling around him, I'm pretty sure. But other than that,
no,
I know that knights can get feisty in the Tiger Club, but that's taking the
What's the one with the hammer gonna do?
I don't know.
I want to know. Is that the one that hammered the stake in?
Oh, could be. Yeah, good call. Yeah, good.
Right.
Do you want to hear something very? Do you want to hear something very funny that's just happened? I just shouted, "Burn the witch!" I've just realised next door in the other bedroom, the missus got some random person from Facebook Marketplace trying on a wedding dress.
Amazing.
Laura's just gone, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I love this stream. Monday nights my favorite. My favorite night.
We did have about a semblance of professionalism for the first 12 minutes there.
I just think we might witness an on-stream murder. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to get the 3D printer and smack it over his head.
Could Laura reenact that scene we just saw with that base? With the man.
Yeah.
Gaza has done greenest. This is.
Wow.
Hang on, let me get this right. This is leafy Eddie Lizard.
That's
Seraphim Chameleon Skink. Love it.
That is
I love that. That is very, very cool.
Now,
hold on to your hat, Dom. This is Ian, and he's done the bizarrest. Yeah, you're right. This language is getting killed here.
What the blinking heck is that?
That's
Slanesh.
There's a thing from Hellraiser in it.
Is she being eaten by the thing, or is she fighting it, or is she jumping?
Dom.
Was it part of that?
That's not a mouth.
Oh,
I don't think that's a mouth.
Oh, I've just seen it. I've just seen it.
Dear. Oh dear.
Jay.
There goes our family credentials straight away.
That's all right. It's Steve's channel tonight.
Cheers, lads. Cheers.
Bloody hell. I would not like to do. Yeah, anyway, well, right, keep going. keep going.
That's definitely very Hellraiser. James has done oldest and enamelist. This is hurting me. I hit it with M18 and M8 Greyhound. Oh my god, they're lovely. Lovely work,
the weathering on them is fantastic.
Awesome.
Really
oh god, it gets even worse. It gets. Jonas has done the Panzerist.
Panzerist?
Panzernest. Sorry, Panzernest. Oh god.
Hang on, before we go on, I have to give an award to Miller here. This is brilliant. I see Ken has rubbed off on Laura. She's trading a wedding dress for a black dress.
I wonder where that was going for a minute then.
Yeah,
that first sentence needs a bit of rewording, Miller. I think the next one is Lee. He's done two. So this is his first one. This is reddest and angriest. The reddest and angriest, greenest sword and blackest heart.
What a classic, classic miniature.
Epic Angron.
Angron, the angriest man in the 40k universe.
And now he's just done reddest. Ottomans.
Proper troops.
Ottomans are
they are
very red. We've got the red. I don't know. Are they not angry? Maybe the reddest are angry. I mean,
they're probably runny wayest.
Runny wayest.
Runny wayest.
Runny wayest.
Norfolk.
Paul had to step in here, and I think we met. But this is the biggest and coolest, and there's his.
Look
his
at that!
McFarlane
Nice.
Space Marine with its.
That is so cool.
No, Gretchen, isn't it? Orc.
That's
That's a
big.
standard orc, I think.
Yeah.
It's a standard orc. That is cool. Now, Roy, I'm a bit scared to click on this now, considering what we've just seen. Where's Roy? Roy. Oh, we haven't got Roy. Dom, get Roy. Upload Roy.
Okay.
Oh no, I got it. Roy has done the sexiest. I mean, is he purposefully put that? That's that. Which was that? Velma's face like that, right next.
I don't
That's-
know.
Scooby's happy.
That is just brilliant. Yeah, Scooby having a Scooby snack. That's for sure.
Stephen, where are you on here?
They're going to get taken off with this one.
It's all great. Stephen has done the biggest. Again, I'm scared. Okay, no, that's ace.
That is
That's fine.
absolutely ridiculous.
There's a man on it as well. I didn't even see that.
It's Stormcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
nice.
very cool. I mean, that's very. Do you just put that on the table and win? Is that the rule? That is really, really cool. I really like the armor. That
It
is
would take
really,
over
really-
the table, wouldn't it? But just fill. the
That
whole table.
is Lord Emrys Sternbrow and his mighty Star Jake of the sacred land of Athena. Sorry, did you know I was trying out my Gelf. The sacred band of Athena. But next up is Tony, and he's done the oldest.
And Dom.
He's done
Oh, wow.
Look at that. That is a
Britonians. Very cool.
that is really, really nice.
I reckon
I
there might
love
have been a bit. I reckon there might have been a bit of cheating going on there. I don't reckon he painted that in a month.
I thought you were about to say he's cut and paste. I was like, oh, that's lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. And look,
Yeah,
Dom,
it's
you
really
can say,
nice.
look, that is if you took out the three guys with winged horses, there's a lovely
Medieval
14th
army there.
century army.
I'm
Yeah.
squinting so I don't see them because it looks great.
Just put your hand over him, Dom. Just put your hand over him, then you're in a happy place. Then
There you go. Lovely jubbly.
The next one is Tony Phillips has done the fiddliest.
oh no,
That's the fiddliest here is.
Is it a Rubicon kit?
It's remember the fiddle yard. No, that's
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Oh,
oh that is cool. Yeah,
And
That-
finally, that is lovely. Look at the armor. and
the
sword.
bard.
Warren.
Fantastic.
Warren has done the hangriest. Jesus.
No.
I mean, that is
Very
just
nice.
ace. That is
You know-
just ace.
you know what? Do you know there's one thing that was missing? The greenest, and it could have been the 95th. That'd have been good.
Oh.
We did do
There
green.
was a green. There was that.
What was the
greenest?
greenest?
It was the skink.
It's a skink. Look,
Yeah,
it actually
even-
says it's titled greenest.
Even when he's here, he doesn't pay attention.
It
Jeez.
says greenest on the
No,
file,
this-
mate.
I think that was at the point of where I said burn the witch and realised.
So you're
Yes.
momentarily distracted
so-
then. Brilliant.
Some
Yes.
fantastic
Beautiful.
entries.
Good job.
So
Yeah,
thank
really
you
good.
so much for sending those in. So the August one is hashtag super weird shit.
Oh, good stuff.
Let's
Brilliant.
I quote, let's rock Dom's world. Entries are due at the end of the month, and remember to post with the hashtag OPC19. Details in Warren's post. Love, Tony, Paul, and Warren. I love that. Let's rock Dom's world. I think Dom will have. I think Dom's going to have to drink with each one.
Oh my
So
god,
yes,
I'll be absolutely smashed.
when we do the next one, I think Dom will do it early in the evening or maybe near the end. Actually, that might be a better idea.
I'm actually really looking forward to that one. I think there's going to be some absolute total insanity going on.
Oh, and then, but Ken isn't even basic detail. But Matt says the PCP is breaking the fourth wall with their own OPC. Ken missing even basic details about his own stream has to be the Kenist.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So, question from Jonas, Dom. Are you going to be entering the OPC?
Well, hang about. You might actually see my entry in advance coming up in a bit.
Oh, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I'm
now.
scared.
Me too,
when he's-
actually.
So super stuff, as always. But yeah, just thank you to the guys that run it. As I say, it's all just done in good fun and good cheer. And we look forward to seeing what comes out to read. Come on, let's get as many. I want to see as many as possible. And Dom will drink as he does. As he goes through them. So the more that you produce, the more he's going to drink.
I reckon every five he has to take a shot. Every 5.
All right, I'll do it if you lot do it. There you go. You've got 2 weeks.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Well, the weird
I've got to paint something up for it. I've got it's super weird shit. I've got to paint something up for Rages of Shadow Deep based on what happened in the game. I need some new stuff.
It's only if I judge them to be super weird, though. They just fancy it. Who cares? There has to be something.
If we can go down the lines of what we've seen tonight, then
exactly. If they head down those kind of levels, they deserve.
That is some proper Hellraiser. I mean, I do like Hellraiser, but that's yeah.
Dom, another question for you, mate. Are you going to get the new Ottoman cavalry from Perry's?
Wait for the news. Wait for the news.
I'm not going to answer that on the basis that it will get me in trouble with the missus.
You can either confirm nor deny.
But they may be on their way to me at some point. Yes, obviously I will.
Speaking of which, Dom, let's move on to you first. What have you been up to?
I wasn't expecting that. I have been fairly productive this week, which has been fun. So, excuse me. So I was working. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I was working on a couple of extra brigades for my 28mm Napoleonics, a Dutch-Belgian one, and also a Spanish one. So I finished off the light battalion for the Spanish. So that's all finished off.
I love that guy. That's awesome.
Well, the guy in the front.
Yeah. Come on.
He's a front rank. Because the trouble is, I bought the packs from Offensive Miniatures, and so they're all the linemen and like that, but they didn't have any commanders in them because they were just the companies for that. So then I bought a couple of extra, couple of officers from front rank just to make up the numbers. So I'm quite pleased with that. They're all singly based because I'll probably use them as skirmish troops mostly. So that was that. So I was quite pleased to get them finished.
Robin wants to know if there's a benchmark for the number of genitalia needed to make something weird.
No,
I don't know what goes on in your part of the world, Robin, but
he's from down this way. It's
oh, then anything goes. Then,
but it will encourage the creative use of milliput.
I was going to say something.
Oh, this could go really badly. Could go really bad.
And I'm not even talking. Jesus.
I've been cracking on with the Epic as well. You may have seen if you're interested in that.
Yes, I saw the video. It was nice.
So there's the Cuirassiers that I did for that. So they're mainly Essex. 15mm old Essexes, and there's a couple of Warlord Epics in there just to show how the size goes, which I think is pretty good. Works quite well, I think. And then I did one of the light cannons as well, light guns. So I got that finished off, and then some dismounted dragoons. Finished off. So there's another video I'm working on at the moment because I did get some of the Steel Fist miniatures, which I can confirm are absolutely perfect size for Epic. They're amazingly. They're designed for it. The only trouble is, of course, they only do English Civil War, and I actually want them to supplement the English Civil War. But anyway, never mind. So one of those is actually a Steel Fist miniature because it does work really well. And then I did the Gabions that they gave out if you bought the starter box set.
Cool.
So I finished those off, which was nice. You can see them with the musketeer or with the dragoons behind. And then this is the moment. I couldn't hold it off any longer, Steve. This is for you, mate. I finally decided I had to go and do a turnip just to keep you happy.
Oh my good God.
So there you go. There it is.
Oh.
What I'd pray tell, what is that in there?
That is, can't you tell? It's a Siberian manure warrior with spear and musket. And I think some dodgy weed by the look of it too. that I plucked out of the garden.
That looks like a Roman spear, which makes it even better.
There you go.
Yes.
See?
Dom, do you realise the units in turn 28 are a bit bigger than that?
Yeah, but I just put an even bigger lump of manure, and then I just put a load of heads in it. It's fantastic. It's all done.
See, James is asking the important questions. Is that chaff or is it fodder?
I don't fucking know. It's a load of manure. I don't know.
Oh dear me!
There
At
you
least
go.
you've had a go. So is that your contribution to?
That's my contribution to Zonep. There you go. You know, you kept nagging me to do it, so I did it.
Right. I am speechless. I am currently speechless. I have no words for such creative genius as that. I'm pretty sure Max Fitzgerald will be interested as well.
I'll drink to that.
Oh bloody hell! Right, who's next? Martin, what have you been up to, mate?
Jack shit. I'm in the position at the minute where I'm sitting here waiting for transfers to turn up. I'm waiting for some banners to turn up. I'm waiting for some tufts to turn up. But like a moron, I ordered them and then realised I hadn't updated PayPal with my new address. So they're in Cambridge.
No.
So and I ordered a lot of tangible one tufts as well. So it's about 10 boxes on my doorstep in Cambridge. So I have been working. So I've finished my Byzantine Corsairs, but I need some banners and some transfers, and then I need the tufts to base them. So I've now moved on to another unit, which is the infiltrators that came out, because I think they're going to be really good for the campaign that me and Robin are hopefully going to start next week now. But I edited up, you may have seen the Rangers of Shadow Deep game and put that out, much to my my chagrin, because if you want to see some bad dice rolling,
do you know, I have to say that is not my kind of game, really, but I so enjoyed that. That was so much fun.
It was,
and without giving the end away, what happened at the end just made it even better.
it was implausible as well. So it's not even, because sometimes when you're doing these kind of games, you're like, oh, I hope something funny happens for the video, or, you know, something controversial happens for the video. And half the time you don't even have to do it. So yes, if you stick around to the end of the video, you could watch some really epic dice rolling to see what's going on. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun playing that, but I decided, shut up, Miller. And we decided that to sort of put it together in a more of a casual way, just leave the camera running. It wasn't as sort of choppy as we normally do, because it's a bit hard when you do like a co-op game because you're like constantly going around the table. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, other than sending orders out and painting a little bit, I haven't really done much else. Other than I bought a lot of books. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books last week. So I just happened to be
new projects, or
that is all related to the Wars of the Roses.
Oh.
And partially a new project, because I kind of pick which way I'm going with the Lancastrians that I'm going to do. It's only taken a year and a half to actually find one I wanted to do. But it's a big choice. It's a big decision which one I'm going to do, because I'm going to have to get behind him and defend him to the hilt when people argue. So I want to make sure I'm right. No, it is a lot of it's to do with the miniatures and that, and research and stuff. So, but yeah, that was me.
Good stuff. Right, prepare your drinks, everyone. Ken, what have you been up to, mate?
Yeah, so my pictures of it, which is really annoying actually. I'm looking at them right now, but they won't upload to StreamYard for some reason, and I don't know why. That's really annoying.
We're not at the limit, are we?
No, we're not. I see why. They're the wrong type of file. I've got them as DNG. I can't change them either, because they're on the phone, which is in the other room. All right. Well, I can talk about it anyway. So I finished my 2,000 points of vampire counts. Done.
All right.
Done and painted, 3D printed. Take a drink. So I ended up with, I've done, how many skeletons? 20, 40, 60 skeletons. I've done 20 ghouls. I've 10, 20, 25 dire wolves, 3, 6, 9 spirit hosts, corpse cart of a necromancer, and the black coach. So that's just over 2,000 points. So that's a whole army, which obviously I haven't done a whole army in, well, year and a half maybe. I've just been flitting between projects, so it's actually really nice to finally get something done. Obviously, I'll expand on that in the future, but to actually be able to play a game with it, it's going to be really cool.
So is that for Old World or?
Yeah, that's for Old World. Yeah,
Old
that's for
World,
Old
right.
World. So I based that with the newest style of bases, different size
I'd
ones.
laugh
Yeah.
if it didn't come out, if they pulled the plug on it. That'd be so funny.
Cheers, Martin.
Oh, Ken, were you as annoyed as I am that Epic's been delayed?
Yeah, it got delayed, didn't it? Which was a bit frustrating.
Later in the year.
Yeah, it hasn't bothered me that much because I've started painting. I'm doing a 10-man squad of Marines at the moment.
All right.
So I did a lot of thinking about which legion to go for, Marine-wise, because it's really hard for me because I like quite a few. I really like Imperial Fists. I hate to admit it, but I don't mind. I quite like the Smurfs as well. The Ultramarines. I like the Blood Angels. But I actually went for the White Scars. Yeah, so painting white at the minute is rather fun. So that's the armor at the moment. That's had 2 coats of white. These are all 3D printed again. So they're all customizable. Yeah. So if you look, I'll get some better pictures, but the armor panels actually focus it. Yeah. So actually make me a little bit bigger. See if someone make me a bit bigger.
Dom.
Yes, mate.
No, I was going to ask you. So Ken's collecting the White Scars. So what's your opinion on their Primarch Yagatai Khan's choice to actually side with the Loyalists?
But are they like the bloody scabs? Is that right? I don't know.
No.
I think they were. I think they were not appreciated for their tact and guile.
They're like little samurai. That's what they're based on. You know.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're based on the Mongol. They're not. They're based on the. Mongols.
No, Mongols. Sorry, yeah, Mongols.
Yeah,
Mongols. I approve of that. That's good. Mongols, good.
Feudal era. There you go. Go on. What are you saying, Martin?
Are they post medieval?
I'm just looking at your sweaty head. Get rid of yourself.
My God, yeah, you are sweating.
Yeah, I know.
It's because he's scared. As soon as he goes out of that room, Laura's going to.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, at the moment I'm painting those, so I'm doing that. But after that, I'm starting a historical project back to Napoleonics, which are printing at the moment.
Oh God, does that count as a drink? I don't know.
It does.
Yeah. Well, they're 3D printed, so Duchy of Warsaw are incoming. So I'm doing some polls.
What scale? 28 mil.
28. Yeah, 28. They go with the French, but
right. Well done.
They go well with the French when they're literally French, but a different hat.
Polish. They're not French. Yeah. They're Polish.
No, yes, but the uniforms are literally like French with a different hat.
Isn't that the same with every? The protocol being blue. It's just blue with a different hat.
Yeah, but they got blue trousers, so they paint like the old guard, which is nice. So yeah, not having to paint white trousers would be nice. So yeah,
I can drink to that.
Yeah. So that's the upcoming plan for actually doing some painting at the minute. So yeah, happy days.
Nice.
Good stuff. Well, I had a week off last week and I got quite a bit done. So let's have a look. So last week I mentioned that I was back on the Burrows and Badgers addiction. And so I bought the second starter warband from Oathsworn, and I got that finished. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Great.
They were just so nice. The weasel with the crossbow. I painted him last. It was on the podcast last Monday when we had Lucas on.
Yeah.
And so I finished him on the Tuesday, and within 10 minutes of finishing him, I was ordering more Burrows and Badgers stuff, and that turned up on the Wednesday, and I started painting that on the Thursday. So what have I been painting from that? So just rather than buying, because I've bought both starter bands now, so I just bought 6 random characters. So the first one I bought was another Night Hare, which is this chap here.
Yeah, it's a nice model.
That's a great one. I like that one.
I really, really enjoy painting him. He's just something badass about him with that. He's got a proper scowl on his face. He's got a clenched fist and an eye patch. I wouldn't mess with him.
It's a bunny with attitude, that's for sure.
He is. Again, just a lovely.
Well done, Ken. They're now all going on in the chat about what you've started. Look what you. I'm sorry, everyone.
I don't even posted on the Napoleonic Wargamer page yet.
He's only a guest here. It's fine. Be gentle with him.
A guest hair.
So then, this was the first one I painted, because I actually could not wait to start painting this, and I sat down. It's one of those. I painted it in one session, start to end, all in a couple of hours, and it's the toad.
I love that.
That is just so brilliant.
Oh shit! I've never even seen that.
Tone is amazing.
It's so cool.
Oh yeah, I was researching toad skins for about half an hour before.
How did you do that skin?
That was
washes.
He found a toad and skinned it.
It does look like that, to be fair.
No, it was the actual base coat was I think it was German grey and olive yellow, and then I just applied a wash of black and brown, then a slight bit of green as well, and then it was just a case of just adding beiges and khaki and then finally whites to the highlights to finish it off, and it was just so nice. It was just such a lovely thing.
That's really well painted.
I think I might have to get that model myself. That is awesome.
But then on Friday, I think I painted my nicest Burrows and Badgers figure so far. And it's the Beagle.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, nice. Really well done, that.
He's brilliant.
I am so chuffed with this. It is just, I don't know, just such a lovely miniature. He's a Beagle tracker. So there we go. Awesome. And again, the fur. It took me quite a bit of time on the fur patterns because I was looking at pictures of beagles on Google Images. I've got such a strange internet history over the past week. Cheers, Benjamin. It's just such a lovely figure. So I've got 3 left. So I've almost finished. It's a rabbit sergeant. He's almost done.
That's dedication.
That's a bit of realism there for you, Alex. So I've got this, which is a rabbit sergeant at arms.
Oh, he's a good one.
I've got a mouse ranger who's so small, it's unbelievable.
I think I've got that one as well. He's actually really cool with his bow.
It's got a bow. And the last one is the cocker spaniel with the greatcoat and the 2 big knives. But as soon as they're done, I'm putting another order in. I can't stop painting these. There's something very, very addictive about them.
They're amazingly fun.
They're just lovely sculpts to paint. And again, fantastic service from O-Swan. I ordered them on Tuesday morning, and they arrived Wednesday morning. So just again, brilliant service. But I did have a bit of normality, so I returned to bolt action. I actually made a video about this as well. So for my birthday, my mate Ian got me the SDKFZ 222 plastic kit from Warlord, and I finished it.
Oh, nice!
Oh, nice! Yes. You'll be glad that's not the Rubicon kit, Steve, because I did the Rubicon version of that at my freaking days.
Was it decidedly? It
was separate. Everything. It was like literally you were putting brake rods in. It was just it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, that was quite this. As I said in the video, the only says another view. So the only bit I didn't struggle with, but the only bit that I thought had a bit of extra care was actually adding the auto gun. So the auto cannon and the coaxes, you drop it in, and there's a moving part, and you drop that forward, and then too many moving parts for my liking on a war games model. But it's absolutely lovely model. It's Warlord. Yeah. It's Warlord games. So
I think he's on about the Burrows and Badgers.
Oh, sorry. O-Swan miniatures.
Just type in Burrows and Badgers into Google, and it'll pop straight up.
But I think everyone that paints those figures just falls in love with them. They're just one. I mean, they're metal as well, and I don't like metal figures. But with these,
and you don't kit bash them.
I don't kit bash them. I just paint them, and I look up animal fur patterns online. It's really
weird, isn't it? When you're surprising yourself, you're looking up a rattlesnake and stuff like that to try and get the perfect.
Yes, it is, and it's even my brother, and he's not a war gamer. Even he was impressed by them. So that's a small battle won there. But yeah, with that armored car, that was the one. It was originally available in a Gentleman's War box, the starter box. And from about I think it was May onwards, it was available. So yeah, I got it for my birthday in June. But it's now made me want to paint the Humber Mark IV that came with that box as well. So I'm going to be buying 3 of those because I want to do another armor division project for Bolt Action, just solely based around armored cars, because there's just something about them. And what I did start working on as well was it's the prize that I won from Rubicon.
Oh yeah,
it's the mule. Yeah, I sent a photograph to the others. Look at that! Look at.
That's crazy.
It's about 13 parts for the underside that you won't see. It never fails to I don't know. There's just
give me palpitations.
It'll give you palpitations, though. But I sat down. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great build. I really did enjoy it. It was I've not finished it yet. I've still got a bit more to add to it. But yeah, even it's got 1 sprue, and it comes with options, build options. Which is
someone commented after last week's stream about, I think they thought we were having a bit of a dig at Rubicon and how great they were as models. Oh, no, they're brilliant. If you're a modeler, if you're a modeler, they are the best models you will come across. But if you're a fat-fingered oaf like me, they are not the thing you want at all.
That's one way of putting it. I like that.
They are. I mean, everyone knows that I absolutely love the Vietnam USMC, but again, they are quite fiddly to put together compared to Wall of Bolt Action stuff. It's I've always said it's a sweet spot between wargaming and scale modeling with Rubicon kits. But I'm really looking forward to that. I'm never going to use this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little diorama out of it. Yes, vroom. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So what have I got on? So I've got more burrows and badges. I've even Dom said before about Epic. I've started painting mine.
Oh, very nice.
And I've stabbed myself with these pikes about 400 times, and I've only base coated them. So at the moment I'm painting because I've already painted my first stand of
very nice
Years War. So I'm painting the 10 individual pikemen to go on the front, which kind of annoys me because you don't get to see the guys stuck behind them. And I put quite a bit of effort into them. They're really detailed, and you can't see them.
You don't have to do a lot of effort on them. The only ones you need to do are the front ones and the back of the back ones. That's all you need to do.
Right, I'm going to get the elephant out of the room, out of the way. How is the Huey coming along? I've made a bit of a mistake with the Huey.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, well,
that's enough. Yeah. Well done.
No, I feng shuied my desk a couple of weeks back, and I've misplaced 2 parts. I don't know what I've done with them. I've misplaced one of the doors and the rear rotor blade, which is why I've not worked on it because I can't for the life of me find them. They're in a bits box. I just don't know which one. I had a massive tidy up, and so yeah.
Oh dear.
That's why there's been no updates, is because I tidied my desk. I mean, it's tidy anyway, but there was all the little bits lying everywhere. And then what I've done is I've put it in a bits. I've put the 2 bits in a bits box, and I don't know which one. And yeah, so the Huey is on a hiatus again at the moment. So I just thought I'd clear that one up for everyone. Right.
So it's a really important question for Ken from Lazy Pirate Painting. Here we go. This is for the old timers. So, question for Ken: if the French are the Ultramarines of the Napoleonic period, what are the Polish?
Blood angels.
I love it how he said that with such sincerity. But now,
I've no idea what the answer is, so that's fine. If you say so.
Yeah, blood angels.
Brilliant. There you go.
They're like vampires for the.
Well, I said they were more sort of, Dracula style. Then I can never tell because the law's always changing.
No, that you're thinking of Night Lords. They're very. They're both very, very vampire. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would say the Polish were blood angels. It's just because they're they're pissed off with everyone, just out for blood rage.
Shut up.
Well, I'm glad it's not just me that's done it. Alex has done this as well. Yeah, it's. I don't know how I've done it because normally I'm quite pernickety when it comes to building models, and so I don't normally lose things. But this, it's just. Oh, come on, Paul, cut me some slack, mate. Oh, sorry. That sounds like a bit of a war game as yet. No, honestly, God's honest truth, I don't know where they are. It's like, remember earlier this year when I lost all those that German O group stuff. It's the same thing. I put things in boxes and put it away, and I just forget what I've put in boxes. It's I don't know. It's an OCD thing. Yeah, and Carl said it's going to end up as a centerpiece for a Black Hawk Down style scenario.
Very true.
I can see that. I can see that happening. Right, so let's move on to the meat of tonight's chat, which is painting tips.
We've only got 13 minutes till the news.
Oh yeah.
What? What's the time?
Yeah, that's it. It's taken a while. Right, we'll blast through them really. We can do some work. We can do.
Of course,
some
we can.
work.
I just couldn't believe that we managed to go that long.
Right, so let's have a look. I'm going to start with mine. Like I say, if you've got any, it doesn't have to be anything specific. Just know a simple, something that helps you paint a particular brush, a particular paint, a particular wash, anything that you think, excuse me, would help others in the community. Now I'm going to start off with one that's it's not actually it's a painting tip, but it's quite broad, and I think Ken Yorkshire Game would agree with me on this one. So the first one I'm going to say is, when this loads, number one, don't be afraid to put paint on your miniatures and don't get disheartened.
Very true. Yeah, I'm going to expand on that one.
I thought you were clapping. I thought you were clapping him. Then.
I thought he was clapping too.
It was just fortuitous. I do think it did. I agree.
Can I expand on that one by saying, don't put yourself under pressure by looking at all the glorious stuff that other people do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Because you can be put off. I know I've sat down sometimes, look at a figure and think, oh shit, I've seen somebody do that so well. But just it's better having paint on it than not. That's for
exactly.
Sure.
I mean, I say this all the time, but as soon as you start putting paint on a figure, you're already ahead of a lot of people in the hobby.
Yep.
I'm not going to mention orcs in sandwich bags because.
Oh, do you know what? I was just thinking about that as you were talking. Just talking, and I had someone actually message me and say, "Is that a true story?" It's like, yes, it is.
I can't even just. No, I'm not.
Even it was the effort, the fact that written on the bags it said like whatever Grots times 20, Goth Orcs times 10. Mega Knob times 2 or whatever, killer like even the Dreadnought thing was just in pieces in the bag. It wasn't just like a Dreadnought in a bag, it was just in bits in it. It'd be no different. So Dom could just get what his say a Rubicon kit, clip it all out and the sprue, put it in a bag, and then just move the bag.
Here comes my Huey.
God. Yes, that would be my first one. My first tip would be, don't be afraid of painting. I know some people find it daunting, or they just put off by doing it. I mean, you can always strip a miniature, you can always repaint a miniature. It's not the end of the world. And like Dom said, don't be disheartened by other people's work. people just have innate talent, and you should never ever compare yourself to anyone else's painting. It's your miniature, you're painting it. It's how you want to paint it. Yep. Anyone want to move on to their number one?
Yeah, I'll go for one. So for me, if you're trying to paint white, don't paint white. Paint very, very, very light grey. Because you could always, especially if you want to highlight it afterwards, you use pure white then to highlight. So don't ever try and paint white with white. Use very light grey. And don't wash it either. You don't need to wash it really. White looks quite nice when it's not washed. Just highlighted or a bit of dry brushing. Would you agree with that?
I've not painted much white, but when I painted a couple of stormtroopers, I used that what the hell's it called? It's a contrast paint.
Yeah, it's a very light. It's a very light grey. That is
the apothecary one.
Oh yeah, it's a very light grey. Holy white as well from Army Paint is pretty decent. The only problem with those is you have to really keep an eye on them, because where they've got the grey sort of pigment in them, they can pull and look really splodgy on a flat surface. So you want to try and make sure you don't let that grey pull in the recesses too much, otherwise it will look really weird. But if you like me now painting white scars, I'm just using, what's this called? Spaceship exterior, extremely light grey, and then I'll use white scar to actually highlight it.
All right.
I'll sort of expand on what Ken says though, but for historicals, I don't come off of I actually undercoat things sort of bone color. I go over and then highlight.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Because dyes and things that are based on wool and the way they bleach. They don't. It's not pure white. If you're doing like armor, like if you're doing like Space Marines and armor, and it's sort of enameled or whatever, that's a little bit different. But yeah, so at the moment, like right now, I'm working on this. This poor chap who's having his throat slit by this guy standing behind him, and so I thought, because I want to show off a little bit of blood, I'll give him a nice white tunic. So I've started with a base of Skeleton Horde. And then I've sort of used a mix. I used the Scale 75 sand, white sands, which has just got this like hint of sort of a sepia tone in it. And then I just went up and then I used some purine afterwards, because I just find it gives it like the shadows in it. I prefer to a grey one, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think. But if I was doing armor, white armor, I would use grey as a base.
But when I was painting that beagle on Friday, I started the base coat for it was Vallejo light rubber, which is a grey color, and then from that it was just adding increasing amounts of. I never use white either. I always, my go-to is off white. I never have bright white. I always use off white. It's just, I don't like painting white at the best of times, but if I've got to use it, I use off white.
I love painting white. I'm really weird. I really enjoy painting white.
That's a very weird.
I'm very.
You don't need to go beyond painting white. Just you're really weird.
It's very weird.
You're so edgy, Ken.
It's not. It's one of them things though. Painting white, isn't it? You don't really see a mass. People don't like doing it, so it's nice when you see a lot of white painted units on the table, if they're done pretty decently. It's just something a bit different, isn't it? I don't normally see.
Yeah. I just despise painting white. I don't know what it is. Martin, what's your number one?
My number one painting would probably be a little bit, probably feeding off of yours a little bit, which is obviously it comes to research and colors and that. And is not, so if you're not to be intimidated by other people's painting, which was obviously so what you were saying earlier, is not to be intimidated by sort of reference material, especially if you're looking at things like Napoleonics or Wars of the Roses liveries or coats of arms. So I've seen some awesome. It's like at the end of the day, just if you don't feel confident breaking up a livery or a uniform into all its component parts, just go with the basic, just block colors. sometimes block colors and a wash they look absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong with that at all. The old army painter method, block colors, army paint, a strong tone over the top, done. Absolutely nothing wrong. So my tip is just paint to the level that you're comfortable with. Basically, you can push yourself a little bit further if you want to, but paint to the level you're comfortable with, and then don't feel pushed to go further just because the plate in the Osprey book, which is 35 years out of date, says so, or because you've got some weird reference from something. Yeah, don't worry about it. That would be my main one, because I get so many questions especially about liveries and things, and ultimately we don't really know. I mean, obviously Napoleonics is more recent, so we do, but as the further you get back, you don't really know. It's all conjecture, not really. As we say so many times, your model is your table. If someone comes around and really complains, kick them out.
Yeah,
they don't deserve to be there.
Is the right answer. Dom, have you got another one?
Well, it's similar lines, I guess, since we're all in sort of theme here. It is you can go on YouTube and get some really valuable. I mean, just actually hearing about what people are talking about with, how they use different types of white. There isn't a right answer, right?
No.
So, but look at what other people do. I do it all the time. I look at some painters doing this stuff, and I think, Christ, I would never do it that way. But there'll be something in it that you can take and then use yourself. There isn't a right and a wrong way. The way Ken does white works for him. Somebody else might do something completely different.
And just dry brush it. Some people just dry brush white and flat, don't they?
So have a practice, have a play, and see what works for you. And then when it does, stick to it. But then don't be afraid to then modify it a bit. If you, a few months, years later, you think, actually, I saw that video. I saw that those dancing hands from Steve do something really clever with whatever it was. I'll try that out.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, you're right though, Dom, because my techniques changed for this over when I've done my original video. So before I was just using a grey primer to go over for this off white, but now what I do is I use a black, then I use a grey, and then I use a white to do a 3-point highlight, because I just find when you do a highlight like that, what are you laughing about?
All I can think about is the episodes of Red Dwarf when Rimmer's talking about risk, and he's like, I rolled a 6 and a 5, followed by a 3 and a 4. And he never gets back to the next. I rolled a 5 and a 2.
That works. The only reason I say for that is because now that works out, I don't have to wash the miniature because it's already got natural highlighting in it with the different shades. So underneath black, and you've got your mid-tones of grey, and then you've got your very top peaks of a white. So you've got that contrast of shading already naturally. So you don't have to. So you don't put a wash on the miniature. It just works. But I learned that on a video. Who the frick was that? What's his name? The guy who did the 2 at the 100 Goblins. Brent from Goobertown Hobbies.
Yeah, Goobertown.
Yeah. I learned that from him. So I thought, well, that's quite a clever idea. So I'll give it a go, and it works.
I know with washes, I've mentioned so sort of over the past 18 months, I've been using washes so differently to how I'd normally use them. Normally
you don't use Agrax anymore, do you?
No, I make my own for my go-to brownish wash. It's a mixture of Nuln Oil and Vallejo Sepia. I just make a nice batch of it, and it works really well. And I can make it lighter, make it darker. But with washes now, I tend to use them as more of a really watered down paint than an actual wash for recess, rather than just covering a model in a wash, and letting the wash take its course. When I painted those Stack and the British as well, I used the wash for that as more of to make shadows and make depth, make recess, and then do the highlights over that, rather than just splatter the whole miniature like I used to. And it's just a completely different way of painting. Well, for using washes anyway, that's my take on it. Well, let's try and sneak in one more before we move to the news. I'm going to go with another one. Very similar to what Martin said. At the end of the day, they're your miniatures. You can paint them how you want. Obviously within reason, but no. All joking aside, just paint them. paint your miniatures. I don't know what it is. It's just I can't stand. You see some people on groups and on social media, and they post something, and because it's not accurate to the nth degree. Martin will back me up here with his tanker.
Oh God, there's nothing wrong with it. That's the thing that annoyed me the most.
What's pissed you off? What was it?
No, it's about a year ago. I painted a 15mm British tank commander to stick on the top of one of my.
We played some war stuff, didn't you? You got that?
Yeah. And I put it on this World War II group, and the level of vitriol and just unpleasantness was was just horrific.
No, it's never nice. But at the end of the day, your miniatures, you've paid for them. You can do what you want to. Yeah. If you want to spend 5 million hours painting one figure, you can do that. If you want to break it down into its component parts and pop it into a sandwich bag, you can do that as well. They're your miniatures. You can do anything with them. Again, it's a very simple one, but I think sometimes with painting, it's very much just do what you want to do. At the end of the day, the game's not going to change just because your figures aren't painted the way they should be. Yep. I remember at my old club, someone painted up some old school Beaky Marines. They were done as Mr. Blobby. So they were pink with yellow circles on, and we just thought it was hilarious. It was one of the best things ever. But yeah, it was. I was rather interested in seeing old Beaky Marines in their Mr. Blobby livery, which is quite interesting. Okay, Ken, you got another one?
We lost him. He's gone. Oh no, he's back. There he is.
No, I'm here. I would say if you're painting a figure, and you're not happy, so you're not enjoying it, you're probably not painting the right figure for you at that moment in time. So if you're like painting it and you're forcing yourself to painting it, you need to think about maybe moving on to something else and trying something a bit different, new project, or you've had something itching at the back of your mind. We all get it. So I was really excited about my vampires, and now I'm like, I got to a point where I'm like, actually, I don't really want to paint another skeleton now. I don't want. Yeah, I've had enough of painting that. It served its purpose. Now, yeah, I want to be a weirdo and paint white, but there we go. So yeah, if you're not enjoying it, change it up. Don't feel like you have to do something because you're mid-project and you haven't
exactly. It's the whole thing. If it becomes a chore,
it ain't fun.
Don't do it. It's not a hobby then. If you're hating it, I mean, I think everyone's been there where you sit down, you try and
do a job, doesn't it?
Yeah, you try and paint something and you absolutely hate it. There's no point. There's literally no point in doing it. And I've vowed never to do that. If I'm painting something, it's because I'm enjoying it. I'd rather be enjoying what I'm doing than sit down and think, oh God, I've got 25 of these things to paint. And so I just wouldn't do it. I mean, exactly. Dom, you I know you fly through your stuff. Have you ever reached that point where you've got into a slog painting something, you just want to get it finished?
Oh, absolutely, I have. Less so these days, because I used to do it, particularly if you were doing competition gaming or something like that, and you had a competition coming up and you wanted to get a unit finished, and you just weren't enjoying it. But nowadays, I do like Ken said. I just literally have, I don't know, piles of different projects on the go.
You got shitloads, behind you on that table, all primed, ready to go, isn't you?
There's a table over there, which is, as you say, it's got different figures, different periods, different armies, whatever, and a few badges and barrows in there as well. So I'll just literally go, right, I fancy something different. Sometimes I'll fly through a project. Sometimes it just really does drag. So just put it away, come back to it. That's what I do all the time.
Cool. While you're on the subject, Dom, what's your second tip?
What would be my second tip? I think, well, actually, kind of expanding a little bit on what you said earlier about your epics. Think about how you're going to use the figures.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing a massed 6mm game, 15mm game, whatever it is, even a massed 28mm, you probably don't need to worry about doing it sort of present, sort of whatever the the award-winning standard painting job on them, you can focus on a few key figures on that. Or in the case of the epics, you just do the front one's really good and the back one's really good. And the rest of them just need to look roughly okay, because you're going to be looking at them 3 foot away. If you're doing a small-scale skirmish game, or they're going in a cabinet or something like that, then put a bit of time and effort behind them. So think a little bit about the usage you're going to put to them.
Yes.
The old 3 foot rule is a good rule.
Yeah, it's just about applying when you need to take a different approach. I mean, I found my painting approach between Burrows and Badgers and Turn 28 is completely different. I mean, with Turn 28, it's just, I'm like a frenzied thing going at it with inks and washes and mud, and I don't care how it looks, because it's going to look pretty crap at the end of it. But that's the ethos. But with Burrows and Badgers, I sit down like I'm in a zen, calm mood, and I'm going to paint this badger with a cudgel, and it's just a completely different approach. But I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's the approach you take to your subject matter. No, I think some people. I mean, I used to be guilty of that when I first started doing ball tacks. I started painting on the sprue at one time, and I gave that up pretty quickly because it was absolutely a diabolical way to paint. It was just awful. Has anyone ever done that? Painted on the sprue?
Yeah, I did for the epic.
Yeah, I did for epic.
ACW. It worked quite well for that, to be fair, though. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, with me it was ball tacks, and so I was painting them on the sprue and then clipping them off while painting.
That's fucking nuts. Why?
I know it was. I managed about 8 of them. I thought, what am I doing? I might as well be listening to the Smiths or something. So I didn't bother. After that, I just scrapped them completely and went back to sticking them all together and painting with my old method. But no, a very, very salient point there, Dom. And the last one before the news, Martin. What have you got, brother?
Mine is to change the tones of the base paint. So if you're painting up loads of troops in, say, I don't know, like a leather base armor or something like that, especially if you're using things like contrast paints and speed paints, just add in some different tones. Add a little bit of red in, so you kind of get like a nice red leather look like that, and just vary things up. You can just have that one pool. If you're using, dare I say, I'm not going to say the dirty word. I've seen people talking about it in the chat, but wet palettes. But to be fair, if you've got a palette and you've got your blob of like I'm using them, it's snakebite leather, and then what I do is I'll do a couple just with that, and then I'll get some, I don't know, what's this one, Flesh Terror's red, and I'll pop that to one side, mix a little bit of that, and then give some more of a reddish tone, or you give some a bit of a lighter tone, things like that, just to try and mix things up a little bit, because Ken said this before when he did his French. Obviously you've got varying shades of blue. You've got ones that have been out on campaign a little while, so just to mix these up. And it's the same with the armor. And I know Paul would say the same. He's done blue. I've done the same. I've done black armors, blued armors. I've dulled some down, with a wash of strong tone. I've then gone over some with a bit of a dry brush, and then other ones I haven't touched at all, just to mix things up a little bit. And it doesn't actually take a lot more effort. If you've just got your paints nearby, you can just put a few paints on there and just mix a few things, and it really does add to the effect of the unit. So yeah, I'd just add some tones into your base coats.
I love your blue base coat you do. That blue base coat for armor, what you make the blue sheen. I love that. That's one of my favorite armors. I do like that.
I think you can extend that into your massed infantry units as well, or cavalry units as well. If you've got
Napoleonics, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what if you're doing a whole load of, like you said, a whole load of white trousered troops, put a few ones with brown or grey or something in there, just to make it. Same with the jackets, you could just change the colours slightly, just to. They faded, exactly. They grabbed whatever they could off the.
Someone lost them. Yeah, they go through, nick some off a washing line as they go through. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's it's perfect. And that's something I love about the especially the medieval period is almost the lack of uniformity. And I know some people find it quite hard, to break away from that, especially when you're doing the Wars of Roses sprint. The idea that, you know, yes, there are livery coats and there are things and like that, but not everyone was wearing them. You know, and it
you had to get given them, didn't you, Martin? You were given them by the Lord, weren't you?
Yeah, you have to be given to them. But also, if sometimes you wouldn't want to wear one. You don't want the enemy to know that
you don't want to get fucking captured. Yeah.
You know, there's loose coat. You know, the Battle of Loose Coat Field. You know, Edward. You know, they line up in front of him. Edward basically fires a volley at them, and they run off. And it's called Loose Coat Field because they all took off their livery jackets and chucked them on the ground, and legged it. That didn't help, admittedly. But yeah, I think it's just fun to add in different tones and all that kind of stuff. And you know, and as Alex says, what about Dark Ages? Just go, just mix it up. I'll get one color, so I'll get like a blue, and I'll do one tunic in blue. Then I'll do the next model. I'll pick up what I'm going to do blue on him. I'll do the trousers. Next one, what I'm going to do blue on him. Okay, I'll do scarf or whatever. Pick up the next one, red, and I'll just go along like that. And that's how I did Landschnecks as well. I just broke it down into
that's
into much smaller things. Like okay, who's getting a red arm? Who's getting, you know?
That's exactly what I did. It's weird when I paint turn 28. You know, on your palette, you've got your little divot things. If I'm painting a unit of say 6 or 8, I only ever use paint out of that one thing. So if I'm giving them brown, so if I'm giving green coats, I'll put green and mix up a really yucky green and splatter it all on. And I'm gonna say, well, some of them want brown trousers, so I'll pour brown into the green, mix it up, and paint that. And I'll say, well, some of them might want blue epaulets, so I'll pour blue into the gungy mix and paint that on. So every one is a bit different. There's a different shade on each one. It just gives it that whole turn at 28 look, really.
I'm not surprised they need brown trousers, mate.
Yes, I think I'd be the same. Right. I think it's time for some news. I know from what I've seen, there's quite a lot. So, right, everybody, brace yourself. Ready?
Sorry, we apologise.
I apologise in advance for this. I really do.
It's one of my favourite things about last week was even Lucas commented on how sinister that was.
Oh, dearie me. Right, who's up first?
I'll get Dom because otherwise he'll implode. He needs.
I need to. I can empty the moist bucket while you're doing your bit.
God alive, moist bucket. Ugh.
All right, let's get started. So, first call. I've got some new Western buildings.
Oh,
I think these are some older ones. I think that they've got hold of. Someone can tell me in the chat, but I got the feeling they were. I meant to look it up before the show, but then we had the OPC panic, so I didn't. But I think they're old buildings that they've repurchased and are reselling, so they're really nice. They do look good.
Yeah, I do like them.
And also, talking about epic stuff, there's been a whole load of additional American Civil War stuff. So this is the siege mortar battery.
My mate sent that to me on when it came out, and I know from the newsletter, I honestly thought they were 28 mil.
They're very good, aren't they?
They're very, very good. I was like, "What? Are they branched to 28 mil?" No, brilliant detail on them. Absolutely
really
fantastic.
Sweet. Really, really nice. And also some more sort of support. I mean, look at the prices though, but bloody hell, a field ambulance and a signals tower.
The thing is, you're only going to be buying like one of them, aren't you?
I know, but they're freaking tiny, for goodness sake. 15 quid for a little. Anyway, whatever. I know you're right. You're only going to need one. And do you even need one? It's just purely for aesthetics, isn't it? But so there you go. They're on the way. Victory at Sea. They're continuing to chug along with a whole load of extra ships every so often. So there's a whole load more German ships. So you've got the Type 1939 torpedo boats, which I think are almost like destroyers. They're like mini destroyers.
They are, yeah.
Big mothers. And then the Nuremberg and the Leipzig. I think they're light cruisers, aren't they? I think certainly the Nuremberg was. So yeah, they're on their way, which look good. I must get that back out. Funny enough, Jonathan and I were talking about this. We're going to have another go at that because I quite enjoyed it. if you ignore the ranges, which are just stupid. Anyway, it's all good. And Blood Red Skies. I don't know whether anyone plays this very much anymore. There's a couple of people down the club do. Apparently, they're doing the Korean War.
Oh, yes.
Mig Alley, which actually I kind of like the idea of. It kind of, I don't know why. No interest in the other one, but that kind of, I don't know, whatever. So that's coming along. You get, what do you get there? 2 MiG-15s and 2 Sabres.
OF-86 Sabres, yeah.
Yeah, which will be sweet. And as usual, they brought out all the aces to go with them. So you've got aces for both sides there by the look of it. Before we get on to the main event, Skytrex, who, as you know, were bought out by Warlord. It all seems to be Warlord, this first lot. Have just, I don't know whether these are brand new. I think they've acquired them through a, oh yeah, they have. There you go, through Emperor's Toad.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yes.
Yeah, they made an announcement, didn't they, a few weeks ago, and then they put this thing up because I think they're
so you can get all the Revolutionary War regiments, which is, and I started to copy them in, but there's like literally 20, 30 different battalion packs you can get. You can get Dutch, English, French, emigres, you get, I mean, Austrians, Germans, everything. It's amazing. And they do look really good models, I have to say, really nice. So if you're into the very, very early Napoleonic Revolutionary Wars, then might want to have a look at those Skytrex models. They do look pretty good.
What scale are they done?
28 mil.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, 28, yeah.
Yeah, 28. All metal, so no good for you, mate. But there's a drummer or two, so you might be happy.
Quiet.
Okay, here we go. The main event. All you've been waiting for. The Mameluke Cavalry are here. I mean, just the Perrys have just, yeah. I mean, what can you say?
You're happy, Ronnie.
Should have a health warning for these. So look at these. These just amazing figures. The cavalry are here. I love that officer. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So there's...
I do like those.
There's 7 packs, I think, of Mameluke Cavalry. Just brilliant. I mean, so I think genuinely some of their best they've done.
I'd be very interested to put those next to the Gringo 40s ones I've got and see how they. The Gringo 40 ones are quite.
They're quite chunky, aren't they?
They're quite chunky. Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
I particularly like the guy with the blunderbuss on the end of that one.
Yeah,
that's just fantastic. So there you go. That's where.
It's a shame they were shocking.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it today. I was thinking, oh, I really, when I do this project, I want to have lots of cavalry. And I thought, oh my god, lots of cavalry. Look how much work they're going to be to paint as well. Oh. Anyway, there you go. That's what I saw. Now you can listen to the rest because it isn't as important as that.
No. Hang on 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm just shading.
I got Sonny.
Oh god. Go on, then you do yours. I'm just shading a shield.
Let's go. Where is it? All right. It's Kickstarter 3D printing, of course. It's only got 15 hours left. Operation Plunder.
Oh, is this the Canadians?
Yeah, it's the one we did a couple of weeks ago.
Was I? Yeah,
no, you weren't.
Oh, I can't remember. 15 hours. Yeah, 50. It's 15 hours to go. So if you want to get on this, but they've unlocked all the stretch goals now, which is a nice thing. They didn't.
That is very cool.
Yeah, so you've got all the ordnance stuff, but you've also got as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Where are they? You get commandos as well, so like you can do commandos with it as well. So you've got 2 kits in one, really, and it's quite a reasonable price. I thought 38 quid. I thought that's pretty decent, especially for multi parts. Yeah, so check them out. You got 15 hours.
Well done.
Back to you, Martin.
What have I got? Okay, so Victrix previewed their early Saxons that are on the way.
Which
are lovely. So all those people who are getting ready to do their Dux Britanniarum, because we had the late Romans coming, you could just get one pack of these, and they are cool. So take a look at those. I really like the guy in the middle on the left. You sort of just standing there with the furs. They just look really cool, and I really like that they've got them carrying javelins as well. But to go with those, here is the command.
Oh, nice.
They're very, very cool.
They very much they have that look about the Normans, don't they? Very similar kind of look to those sculpts.
Yeah, I think they've. Yeah, I think they've definitely, because I think, I mean, personally for me, the Normans were a step up when they released that Norman infantry kit. Yeah. They entered a whole new sort of level, in my opinion.
Make you pay attention to them, that's for sure.
Everything since then has been, sort of great. I mean, because the Roman stuff they did was nice, but there's only so much. I don't know. The Normans just seem to be just a step up, personally. I think. And then the late Roman sprue, the one I worked on and did again. Each release just gets nicer and nicer. Yeah, so they are going to be on the way soon. The Kickstarter that we previewed for the Tales of Beowulf. Now, is it me, or have they lightened up this picture now?
I think they have. They've been listening.
They clearly. So here it is. Now, even though that these miniatures were already partially released, so they called it like a soft release. This is now on Kickstarter for a full release. So these are all for white metal. And this is Medbury Miniatures Tales of Beowulf. There are multiple stretch goals, as you can see on here, but obviously it's come out well small. But there's lots of different add-on packs you can get with different characters that are named in the epic poem. And Medbury makes some lovely, lovely, lovely sets. And there's loads and loads of add-ons that you can do.
And I have to say, one of the things I thought when it first came out, because I love Medbury figures. I think they're some of the finest you can get. They're really, really good. I thought, oh God, it's a fantasy thing. It's not going to be much good. But actually, there's a lot of very good historical figures in there, because I think they do a fantasy one, which includes a dragon. But there's also the similar figures that are just, they call it the sort of, I don't know, historical pack or whatever, which you could use for that as well. And I've so nearly got it so many times. I just think,
It is indeed, Stephen. I am apprehensive would probably be the best way to describe my how I feel for that. And then I know some people here like Games Workshop, and they sign up to their TV thing, because I saw someone talking about it. Like their version of
Warhammer
Disney.
Plus. Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, I know that there's a series based on Age of Sigmar, and they've released some models based on the series. So these are the Black Talons, and I expect we're going to see these get painted up like that awesome one we saw for OPC. I thought they were quite characteristic. I could see these. I don't know if I could get these into Rangers of Shadow Deep, but I'd certainly try. But they're on the way if that's your thing. And then there's 2 new starter armies for bolt action. There's the British Inter-Allied Commando starter army. You guys will have to comment on what you think. I looked at this and thought it was boring. But that's just, I've got to say, I looked at that, I was like, that looks really dull. But you can tell me. I don't know how many points these are meant to be. They're 1,000.
The starter box is normally around 1,000. The thing that's putting me off starting Commandos is that the theatre selectors, they don't wow me. There's nothing. To quote again, to quote Red Dwarf, I am ungripped by them. That it's just it's never really. I mean, I love the figures, and I'd love to paint them, but there's no selectors or lists out there that really inspire me to run them.
All right, well, how about this one then? There's now a Soviet starter army. See, that looks more interesting to me. That's the Soviet 40 to 43.
They might have actually. They're still the same Soviet plastics, though, aren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah. If they are, count me out. I'd rather.
Yeah, they need to update. They need to update those Soviet plastics.
It's the ones with the separate arms and weapons. Dawn will tell you all about them.
Yeah, I actually did do them, but I got all the wrong arms on the wrong bodies and everything else. But they came out all right, so it's all fine. But
so that is the that's what I saw. So it's quite a lot. It's been on those weeks. There's been quite a lot going on.
Coming towards the end of the summer, aren't they? They're starting to all start to put stuff out again.
Christmas time. So
right, let's have a look at some tips from the viewers tonight. So here's one from Rich. Keep your brushes clean. It sounds pretty obvious, but it does help. It does. It absolutely does. Look after your brushes, and they'll look after you. I think it's the best way to describe it. Even if you're buying, you've got real cheap ass ones, or you've gone out and spent a lot of money on something like Artis Opus or something like that. Look after your brushes.
Um,
Do people use soaps and things like that?
Yeah, I've got brushes.
I have some soap, but it came with the paint set, and I've got to admit that I do use it, and it does. Does it help? Lasted a long time. They're soft. They never go. They're nice and soft when I go to use them each time. They're not like hard. They're hard to see. But although I sometimes like that because I'm like, right, I need to find the hardest brush I've got so I can do it. It does seem to. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have gone out and bought it if it hadn't come in the set.
Yeah. No, I've got. I think I got some given me in the set, and I don't even know where it's gone. But I've just never really got around to using it. I just wonder whether I'm missing a trick.
Really never used it myself. One from Ham and Jam. Started using medium, very pleasing results. I've never used medium. Never.
I have used medium and thin things down. And then built things up in sort of layers. It's quite good, especially if you're doing blending and things like that. But I usually find it better. I wouldn't do it on, say, so I did it like on the Lizard Man that I did. Yeah. I found it quite good on that. And if I was trying to do makeup, but anything where I wanted like block cut, just simple colors, I don't tend to use it as much. In fact, I use it barely at all. I've had one bottle going for quite a long time. I don't know if it has a life expectancy.
Here's an absolutely vital one from Paul. Know which cup is for brush water and which cup is for tea.
Good idea.
Yes.
That can lead to some pretty horrific accidents.
Especially with enamels.
Yeah.
Or just drink beer or wine or whatever out of a bottle or a can, because it's much harder to get the paintbrush.
To combine that, use Carling to wash your brushes with.
That keeps your brushes
will fall out.
Yeah, actually, Mark's got a good point. Don't ever do that. I don't want to get sued. One from Leslie. White undercoat. I've not used a white undercoat for probably over 20 years. I don't undercoat in white anymore. I use brown. What I tend to do, oddly enough, my go-to prime is a combination of English uniform and this Warlord Games German helmet green. I mix those together and I base everything. I prime everything using those two mixed together.
I love Halford's grey.
Dom, do you know what? You've got me on the Halfords because that's where all my sprays come from now. I've got the black, grey, and the white.
And they even do a khaki, an ultra black.
They do loads of different shades. Well, they do, don't they?
Well, they have gone up a bit in price lately, which is a bit of a bummer.
I just used the Colour Forge stuff because it works out at the moment. They got a sale on. It works out cheaper than Halfords, and you get more.
I still can't get on their website. They think it's very dodgy. I don't know why.
No, I love stuff. I tend to work off I undercoat everything black and then I hit it from the top with white. But I don't do like like the Zenithal thing that everyone else does and sort of hit at 45 because I quite like really high contrast models, like with big areas of dark and big areas of light. I noticed that seems to be the way I started painting. So I tend to either go solid white or black with them white over the top. Unless if I was painting a vehicle or something like that, I'd probably do it from black.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's just brownie guns for me. That's the best way to describe it. One from Carl. try to do something every day, even if it's only for 10 to 15 minutes.
Good idea.
That's a good one.
That definitely works. It really does. It's a good way if you've got like hobby block or you've lost motivation or something. Is just do something for 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, and then build yourself up. And eventually you find yourself loving painting again. But I think, that's something that everybody should try. And speaking of which, Marky Sparky, not a question, painting block. Yes, that's a good one. Don't ease yourself back in. Don't go and do a mad 6-hour painting session. Paint something different. Paint something you've never tried before.
You got to concentrate on a little bit, so it gets you focused, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I know hobby block it's painting block is horrible. It really is. But when I had that bolt action one, I purposely stayed away from painting bolt action for about 7 months, and I just worked on other stuff, turnip, just anything I could find that wasn't bolt action. And then when I wanted to paint bolt action again, I absolutely loved it. So it does help. Ease yourself back in and just try something that it's something a bit different.
Anything you've ever fancied doing, painting wise, I mean, not other sort of things, then try that. Just give it a go. I think variety, that's always the best thing.
Here's a good one from Steve. Hobby tip for you: add tufts to everything.
In the right place.
Oh no! Anywhere, all over the place.
On the bases.
Tufts are plenty. There's one from Benjamin. The simplest painting tip I always give to new painters at our open house events is to always have 2 contact points. Brush hand must be touching the hand or arm, or hold the mini for stability. Yeah.
Good plan.
Good plan. One from Robin. If your goal is to improve, then you actually have to try. Doing the same thing for 10 years in a row will not expand your skills. Absolutely.
Very true.
Again, it's pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and not being. I mean, Napoleonic French drum is a completely separate thing that they define my uncomfort zone. So it's not something I'll ever try ever again. But no, that's spot on. You have to try and improve. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. One from Alex: no figure is ever truly finished. Sometimes I have to stop myself. I mean, especially with the boroughs and badges, when I get to a point where I think I can't paint this anymore, because if I do, I'll ruin it. It'll be over painted, and it won't look good. It'll just look like a load of crap, a bunch of paint splattered all over it.
See, I don't like to disagree with the mighty Alex, but I actually disagree with that one entirely, because I think that's the danger. I think if you carry on. Keep going, you will get sick of painting those figures.
Yeah.
That's good enough is enough sometimes. In my world, anyway.
Here's one from James. Paint Prussian Landwehr in batches of 96.
Does that go along with Benjamin painting Saxons and Normans in batches of 300 or something?
I was going to say that he takes batch painting to another dimension. One from Tony. It's priming the main colour, block paint, add a wash, battle ready paint job. You can always add highlights and details later. Absolutely.
Bosh.
I think that's
perfect if you're doing the smaller scales. Even better for that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think again, it's all like Dom mentioned before. It's all about knowing what you're painting for and what level to bring to that type of painting. Although I will admit, when I was painting at those epic ACW, I could have gone completely overboard on those. I had to stop myself. It's one of those. I kept on to tell myself, 3 feet away, they're 13.5 mil tall. There's going to be hundreds of them. It doesn't matter. Just a bit of brown on that guy's trousers. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't have to be that level of absolute quality. There's one for Martin from Jonas. Might be an unpopular tip, but using a wet palette helped my painting results a lot.
Fair enough.
My hatred of wet palettes isn't down to their ability. It's down to people who just leave them to rot and mold in offices. That's my issue with them. Clean your wet palettes.
Yes.
Here you go. Here's one from Mini Warmot. Paint the mini to your liking. Get that mini on the tabletop to get more time for gaming. Dom, I think this guy's
he's speaking my language.
He's speaking your language here. I don't like to spend 80-90% of my hobby painting minis and 10-20% for gaming. True. Although at the moment that my my ratio is completely the different one. I spend 95% of my time painting. And I really don't mind it. I really don't. There you go. One from Lionheart. Not sure it's an actual painting tip. No, it is. What I would say, if you find yourself getting bored halfway through a project, take a break and paint something different. You can always, absolutely. Again, like I mentioned before, there's nothing worse than slogging through painting, 9 or 10 miniatures that you despise painting at that time. Much better to put them away, put them out of sight, put them in a box, send them to a different postcode so you're not tempted to work on them again until you're ready to work on them.
Similar theme. Go outside, have a walk. Do other things. It's fine. I was watching Nick Games was doing his first stream the other night. Which if you get a chance, it was good fun. Although the bugger had more viewers on his first stream than we had on our PCP, that's for sure. I know. I said in the chat to him, I said that's about 8 more than we had. Right. But anyway, what he did, I thought was quite impressed. He was painting for about 2 hours, and then he said, right, I'm going to go take the dog for a walk. I'll be back. And it was great. And I thought, good on you. That's exactly what you should do. He then did about another 5 hours or something overnight, which I thought was a bit extreme. But, he did have a walk, which is good stuff. So, yeah.
Another one from Rich here. Watch a few painting videos and nick the ideas and techniques that take your fancy. Helps you build your own armory of painting methods. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think if you were, I know there's a bazillion painting tutorials or how I paint or what you want to call it online, and they're really helpful. I find them more helpful for grabbing certain, like Dom said before, just grabbing certain bits. I like the way they've done that wash. I like the way they've done that highlight. I like that weathering technique. Just following someone's tutorial from A to Z. I think
it can be dangerous as well. I think that can be because if they are fantastic painters, you'll get frustrated. Whereas if you just go, actually, I like the way they did that, shine on that musket or whatever it was, then you think, I can do that on my figures.
The danger. I mean, it's not gaming related, but it's sort of something very similar. Years and years and years ago, I used to go to like a music school on a Saturday. And there was these 2 guys there, and in the first lesson they were there shredding like Metallica and Slayer, just shredding. And then the guy said, "Right, play an A chord," and they're like, "What?" Because they'd learnt through tablature, through tab. They hadn't actually learned any chords, and they'd learned how to play these songs through tab. And I always thought, it's like, you don't know how to play chords. This is just so. Again, it's the same with tutorials. If you just stick rigidly to people's tutorials, you're not going to learn your own technique. You might not even learn the basics. There is a danger that you might not get the basics down. One from Road Trooper. Again, just paint however and whatever makes you happy. Absolutely, can't go wrong with that. Which is why I like Turnip 28. Rich, your minis your way. Yeah. There's a question from Steve. How do people deal with the last 5 to 10% of a project?
Never finish.
I don't know. I can't really remember. I suppose the last 5 to 10% of the Kingmaker thing was finishing the Kingmaker himself, which was always the goal. So I always seem to paint the main subject last. Does that make sense? Like,
treat, isn't it?
yeah, but obviously that project lasted a year, so I had him ready to go for a year. I don't know.
I guess being serious about that, I guess part of it depends on how you approach your projects. So if you're the sort of person that buys, like I do, pretty much the whole lot in one go and then works my way through, it's a bit more challenging because it does actually, by the time I get to an end of a project, I'm actually quite pleased. Because oh god, not another bloody whatever it is. But it's never really finished. But then if you're just doing individual units, maybe that's the way you should do it. If you feel like that, just do, work out what you're going to do and just do it stage by stage. Just do little bits at a time.
And this is why when I do a bolt action project, I write the list first. I'll write a 1,500 point or thereabouts, buy it, and it's there. I'm not tempted to go and add extra units. I know what it's going to be from start to finish, and I have that painting thing where I'll paint infantry, vehicles, infantry, weapons team, infantry, and just break it up. I mean, I've said this before that so different now. The thought of sitting down and painting 10 bolt action infantry in one go just doesn't appeal to me. I have to paint them in sort of 2s or 3s. Doing 10, no, couldn't do it. Could not do it. I've just seen an interesting one from Tony, and it's one that Leon. I heard Leon say it years ago. It's always stuck with me. Faces and bases. To help lift the rank and file models. Absolutely, you
completely,
especially if you're doing a massive big black powder game. Yeah,
I would say it's about lifting colors anyway. It's something that I was chatting to Sean about. It started out as a bit of a joke, but people strive for historical accuracy, but it's being historically accurate on the battlefield doesn't necessarily make your figure stand out, which is obviously just depending on what you want to do. If you're just creating gaming pieces, then fine. But like an example would be like we were chatting because of the berets I did on my 0200. The guy he put the Saki bastard put a comment.
They're very red.
It was red. I was like, it's not. It's just I've highlighted it up so you can see it. And then we were talking because I want to lift it. I don't want a dull maroon kind of like beret. I want it to stand out, so I've highlighted it. With red and gone up for that. Because there are key features on each model that you want to accentuate. So, I think that's, sometimes, for example, on like... you
want to irritate the Napoleonic war game of...
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like my 95th, I use I go in and do some highlights with quite a light green at the end rather than sort of like a dark green, that's the main color of them. So we like to, I think, but naturally as war gamers or as painters, you want to lift colors because you want to get people to look at certain details, don't you?
Yeah, you also find often because we show them under a bright light or take a picture of them on a painting table or something where there's a lot of light, people think, crikey, they're really bright. And actually they're not. When you take them, put them in normal light on the gaming table, they look perfectly normal.
Yeah, I think sometimes photography conditions, I know when I take photographs of images, I use 3 separate light sources. And I think sometimes, depending on the paint or the scheme, they can appear a lot brighter than they actually are. Just to go about what Martin was saying about bringing painting up. When I was painting those epic ACW with the Union troops, I did quite heavy blue highlights, and the blue trousers on the Confederacy as well. I finished them off with like sky blue, really bright blue. But if I was doing them at 28mm, they wouldn't be so sharp. But at that scale, it works.
Yeah, when I did my naval brigade, I remember one of the comments was, "Oh, you've done them quite light." I said, "No, I've done the highlights quite light because again, I don't just want a dark navy blue blob of men on the battlefield. Other people might, that's absolutely fine, but I wanted to, go in and add some highlights along the creases because they're such nice models and they've done such a good job in sculpting them. I wanted to actually try and show off a little bit of it if I could on my models."
Yeah, it makes sense. I think sometimes, well, if you were to take a unit from World War II and paint them accurately, every shade, and put them on a tabletop, it wouldn't work. It would just be too, I think it would be too dull. It just wouldn't, I don't know. It's like when sometimes you see, I always envy people that can paint sort of accurate camouflage. But trying to paint accurate at 28mm, it's difficult. And sometimes it doesn't, you need to do it at sort of 2 or 3 shades brighter. Just to make it show up, and this is why I avoid painting camouflage because it drives me to absolute despair. Right, we're down to the last 15 minutes, so rather than go through, we're gonna one last tip each, and then we'll look at some viewers' photographs. So mine would be something that James mentioned before about the Prussian Landwehr. If you're batch painting, keep it comfortable.
Find your right number in it, Steve.
Exactly. So your quality doesn't dip. I remember talking to Sean. We're having a few beers at CrackCon, and he said his minimum batch painting's 45. And I almost fell off my chair, and it wasn't just because I've been drinking prosecco. I literally almost fell off my chair. I couldn't sit down and paint 45. I couldn't batch paint 45 feet. I know, Ken, you batch painted those French Napoleonics.
126 or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, that would have driven me into absolute despair.
Man.
So I think if you're batch painting, paint to a number of figures that you're comfortable with, that you're not going to A, get bored with, or B, the quality's going to dip really severely when you get to like the 40s or the 50s. Because I know last time I tried to paint 10 bolt action figures, which is a long time ago, the quality by sort of 7, 8, 9, it was just noticeable. It just dips, and it's not good. So yeah, that's my tip with batch painting: is don't make it more difficult than it actually should be. Okay, Ken, what's your last one?
Don't waste your money on about 30 or 40 different paints. Different shades of green. Different shades of green. There's like Phil Gray. There's no correct Phil Gray. Don't be too worried about it. Greens are green. Dark greens are dark green. Light greens are light green. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a light green, you don't need, unless it's something that like a technique that you're trying to do. So like if you're trying to do like an ethereal effect, and there's specific paints that are designed to do actual like effects, like the blood paints and stuff like that, like Blood for the Blood God or Blood Splatter from Army Painter, that are actually physically like engineered to do that. You haven't really got to worry about sort of basic colors. They're, you know, a dark blue's a dark blue, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So don't panic that you've got to have the brand that it's the video tutorial says. That's what would probably be mine. I don't know what you guys think of that. I don't know.
Ken, you have a naysayer. Carl, heresy. You can
never have too much paint.
Never have too many paints. I think I'm comfortable with the number of paints I've got. And I replenish. I can't remember the last time I bought a new color. I always seem to buy the same colors that I need. I never go out and think, oh, I need that.
I'm definitely a color magpie. I'll literally, walk down, if I go into a shop or something, I'll pick up some colors just purely. But I do tend to use the same ones, which is why it's so stupid.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's so stupid. But I do, from time to time, I then delve into the back of the plastic racks and find the ones that I bought. And I do actually use them and think, oh, actually, that was really good. But then I can't remember I bought it, so that's a bit of a bugger.
I think it's with my painting, my sort of painting setup here, I know where the paints are that I use the most. And if I make a mistake and put a paint back in its wrong place, it confuses me. I'm like, well, khaki lives there, not there. So I can't, and I can never find it. It's really, really annoying. Okay, Dom, what's your last one?
What am I going to say? Spend some time prepping your miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing worse than when you finish painting it and you find a mold line that you missed.
Or you could 3D print and eradicate mold lines altogether.
Freaking hell. Yeah, but then you get support lines and support things.
No, you don't if you calibrate your printer right, coming up in an upcoming video on 3D Wargamer.
Who's that?
Never heard of that channel.
Where's that
from?
I heard of Wargamer 3D, and I heard
3D.
Shit! 3D
Wargamer.
I've done it again, haven't
I? Can't even do his own channel.
For fuck's sake!
So it is you're 3D Wargamer, right? Which one are you?
I have no idea.
I thought it was 3D Wargamer.
It is 3D.
No, it's Wargamer 3D.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna look it up now.
I'm pretty sure when I saw it, it was 3D Wargamer.
It's 3D Wargamer, you penis. That's your actual.
Oh shit! So I've called the
3D.
Oh fuck! So I've called the Facebook group the wrong name.
Yeah.
Bollocks! No wonder why no one's joining. They're searching the wrong fucking thing.
That's definitely the reason no one's joining, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly
why.
Right, I think
I
retract my previous comment. Not knowing his own channel name is the absolute Kennest. Yeah, it really is. Oh, God. Right, moving on from this complete debacle. Martin, what's your final tip, mate?
My final tip is if you're looking for something to do, you're looking at your model and think, what can I do with it? And if they've got a clean face, is to get a tiny little bit of grey or grey paint or black paint, really, really water it down and just put it across the bottom half of their face and add some 5 o'clock shadow, because it really does make your model look a bit different. So you don't have to have molded beards on them, just to add a little bit on there. So you can just do a little bit across the bottom and it really makes your model stand out a bit different, especially if you've got a few models who've got the same, if it's like bolt action, you've got like the same head or the same face, just do a couple, just get some, I use Space Wolves Grey, the contrast paint. If you just pop a little bit on that, a little bit of water on your brush, and just go across the bottom of them, and then just use your brush to pick up anything that's pulled, and you get some nice 5 o'clock shadow, and it just makes them look a little bit different. So
even on the ladies,
yes, obviously.
No, I think sometimes when you try and paint a beard and it looks like a bearded action man, like proper. So yeah, no, I never try that. Right, I think I was really interested. I've learned quite a bit tonight, especially Martin's beard trick there. I'm going to try that at some point.
let me own channel name. That'd be
it really does. It does help, especially if you want like 0 to 100. So when you got like the guys who got the tash. Oh yeah, paint the tash and then put some sort of like stubble on them as well. It looks cool.
I like the idea of that. I'm gonna be doing that next time I paint some 0 to 100 hours. Cracking stuff. And again, big thanks to everyone in the chat. There were some really, really useful tips. A bit of motivation as well. I think there's a lot of painting tips is more motivation. Don't be afraid to paint. Your miniatures, do what you want with them. Right, we've got 9 minutes left, and so we're going to have a look at some lovely painted miniatures from the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group and you want to join, other Kens on the stream distance themselves from those Kens on the screen.
I like the one some guy somewhere's going, why have we got free war followers?
Yeah.
Some sage advice from Ken there. Yorkshire Gamer Ken, that is not 3D.
Whatever his name is.
3D Ken. This is 3D Ken.
3D Ken Gamer. So, no, I'm not quite sure. Right, okay.
Ken Gamer Ken.
Ken Gamer. 3 Gen. No, I'm getting myself confused now. Right, Facebook group. If you're not a member and you want to join, link is in the description below. Answer Dom's questions 3, and ye shall be admitted if Dom's on watch that day. Yeah.
He's back now and he's watching it like a hawk. So,
I let someone in earlier just before the stream started, and they answered all 3 questions, so they got a big tick.
Yeah, we were taken away for re-education for admitting people.
Shit.
For letting people in. Right. So, as you know, Facebook group, people post up loads and loads of cool stuff. We grab a few randoms, just to see, what's going on. Different mix, different conflicts, different periods, and it's something I've never heard of. This is from Andrew. There's a game called is it 7 Days to the Rhine? Is this
7 Days to the River Rhine? It's it's Great Escape, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Cold War. Yeah, Cold War.
Yeah, Cold War. Yeah, I thought it'd be Cold War because that's definitely some Soviet
P62s.
Yeah. But he put out loads of pictures up at the battle report. I'd check it out. It's brilliant. This Clive, I need to have a word with you, mate, because if you want to give me chest pains, there's one surefire way of giving me chest pains. Not only to do a drummer, but to do 3 drummers.
Oh, good man.
Face.
Good man. Hey, Ken.
God.
What are they?
Love it.
Oh, wicked. There's a grenadier drummer.
Ken, what are they?
What are they?
They're Polish.
Nation, are they? Hey. What kind of Polish?
Duchy of Warsaw.
Or are they Vistula? There's a question.
No, I think they're Duchy of Warsaw, actually. They look like the right uniforms for post 1812, 1813 for the retreat from Moscow. Yes.
It's 2 more drummers, and I'll have a paint our own. But yeah, they are fantastic. the white and the detail on them is Clive, absolutely fantastic, beautiful, mate. Lovely stuff. Up next is a bit of a work in progress from James on the Windy Boat game. Look at that.
Ooh, very nice.
Nice, mate. That looks like one of the bloody catalogue pictures.
It does, actually. I'm sure he hasn't pitched that off the wall on site.
Yeah, I was going to say, hang on a minute, James.
No, very, very nice. Again, I know I've been harping on about these, but it's great to see other people paint them as well. This is from Martin. It's more plastic gunfighters. Look at that.
Martin's paint jobs are so nice. That is really cool.
Yeah, that's very clean and smooth. Nice.
Yeah, very, very crisp highlights and that. Absolutely, it's just that set is just so nice to build and to paint and to just everything about it is fantastic. And you've done an absolutely stunning job there, Martin. Fantastic stuff. Bit of weird stuff now for Dom's appreciation from Jeremy. He has been painting some Imperial Fist.
That's lovely.
Nice.
That yellow is really cool.
That's a stunning yellow. I actually like that because it's.
I think that's one of the contrast ones. It might be Iandan yellow. Or it looks really nice.
He's done. There's additional highlights in that. He's done.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
really nice.
It's just very, very nice.
That shows you how well you can work with contrast paints.
This is where we find out he didn't use any of it.
No, it looks like he has. That looks good.
No, it's lovely.
Really good.
Back to now. I've been enjoying watching the progress on this. It's Matthew's Bretonians. And he's done these men at arms. Look at those. They are absolutely
nice.
brilliant.
They're fucking hell. It's gonna come to me in a minute. No.
Is he about to say something really astute?
No, they're 3D printed.
It's Ken. He doesn't do that.
Highland Miniatures, I want to say. Yeah, Highland Miniatures. I'm pretty sure they're Highland Miniatures. Yeah, 3D printed.
Actually, I like Highland. Oh no, God, I like Highland.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I had loads of those. I'm sure they're not. That flag is.
Because what Matthew's redoing his old Bretonian army.
I really want to fit. They're not but they're not actual Bretonians, though, are they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yes.
You're talking shit.
I thought the men at arms were.
What?
Men at arms didn't have those shields for Bretonians.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, you've massively.
I had a whole Bretonian army.
Right, yeah, because what Matthew's done is he's stripped his original Bretonians and he's repainted them. It's just the whole meaning behind his project. But they're really good. Paul's been up to some more madness.
I know.
Oh my
the Black
goodness
Prince.
me!
That's lovely, isn't it?
Behave, Paul. Jeez.
The Black Prince, very nice. This Claymore, isn't it?
Yes, that is
something else.
It's just stunning.
The shield is so cool. Yeah, lovely. Lovely.
I think there's a fair few hours been put into that. God, just so good. Is one from Phil's current Moderns project. Look at that.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I don't think we see enough Moderns. There seems to be. I don't know. It's not. I'll be honest. It's not something I've ever really looked into myself. But Phil is flying through his. They are really, really good. Now the next one is just pure nostalgia. It's so nostalgic it makes me want to cry. Here we have some Iandan Eldar from Stephen. Got some Guardians and some Grav tanks, and yes, just so good. I really like them.
Say it as I sees it.
There's no mincing of words around here. Yeah, they remind me of when I played Epic. Eldar players always hid these Grav tanks behind buildings. Then they would pop up, fire, and then pop back down again, and they were a git to play against. Okay, we've got this is really weird. We've got the next two photographs are from dudes called Steve doing Turn 28. So the first one is
I know what you're going to put up as well.
First one is from Steve Evans, and he's been doing his Turn 28 armies are absolutely fantastic. He's just using so many different. It's definitely a bits box raiding project because there's bits from every single kit conceivable with these. But love these. And then I saw this, and yeah, welcome to the Falls, my friend. Welcome to the Falls, Steve Harbour. Look at this. Hey!
What I'm trying to work out on this is he going full Master Blaster, and has he got something on his back?
I think he might have.
Has he got
like back,
like a child or something on his back? I can't.
That's not what I'm trying to work out. Jeez.
That is so good. Domino, you were disappointed with Steve, weren't you? Very,
I was disappointed, frankly. I just it's insidious. It's just creeping doom.
It just
doom of mud and turnips.
Just what you could do with Turnip 28 kit bashing, because there's all kinds on that kit there, all kinds. I'm looking forward to seeing this fully painted up. It's going to be brilliant. Up next is from Stig. We have some. I hadn't noticed.
Well, no, neither had we.
It's been so much better since he did.
Oh my word.
Yeah, don't remind him, says Leslie.
Oh yeah, shit, I was muted. You fucking pricks.
No, that wasn't us.
You did it, not us.
Not us. You unplugged your mic, therefore it mutes you.
So these are from Stig. These are some Valhallan Imperial Guard, proper old school miniatures here, but he's done an absolutely wonderful job on them. So nice. I wish they'd start doing more Imperial Guards like this again in plastic. I'd actually buy them.
You can get them in resin.
Are they not like War Games Atlantic? Don't they do something like that?
Yeah, they do use some like
Something
Valhalla
like that.
style ones, don't they?
Yeah, we'll have to have a look. And the last one for the evening is more Bretonians from Tony, and again more nostalgia. Look at that.
Hey, lovely,
Brilliant,
nice.
Absolutely.
I love it how like Paul's got the Black Prince, and then Tony's painted it, and the Black Prince has just found a unicorn. or Pegasus, sorry.
Yeah,
Pegasus,
lovely stuff.
Get your bloody horse right, Martin. Jesus.
But as always, a big thank you to everyone for posting your pictures in the Facebook group. I always look forward to seeing what people have been working on. Just inspirational, because there's so many cool things going on, especially more Turnip 28. We demand more Turnip 28 on the Facebook group. We really do. Dom can shake his head as much as he wants.
Demands it.
We do. So we're actually in overtime. So big thanks to everybody that showed up tonight. Martin, do you want to give an update to next week's?
Yes.
episode?
So next week we are over on my channel, not Free Wargamer D or whatever it is. So it would maybe say so. We're over on
reprinted. Would he have printed himself a microphone by next week?
I'm surprised he hasn't printed himself his logo. I printed off his name behind him and then done it wrong. Would be amazing. So we are over. So here we are. So next week we are over on my channel, and we're going to be joined by Ian from Flags of War, who we had on about this time last year, just before he released the Kickstarter for the Border Reavers game, which of course went on to be very successful.
Good game.
And he's now looking at releasing the campaign expansion, but we're going to be chatting about all sorts of things, because he's got lots of little projects going on and flags, and just have a good old chat, because he is awesome and has a lot of wargaming stories, and obviously sees a lot of stuff. So that'll be over on my channel next week. And because Ken didn't answer the message when I said, what is it you're doing this month, we don't know. So that's what's
it's a surprise.
It's
right.
I know, and it'll probably be as big a surprise to you as it is to us. So there we go. So that's it. So next week over on my channel.
Really looking forward to that. I think the last time we had Ian on, I'd say top bloke.
Good quality. One of the good ones.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Do we have bad ones?
No, actually, we don't.
No, we don't.
We have stories, but I don't think we should. Anyway, we'll leave those.
A star-studded cat as always. But big thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone that contributed in the chat. Really appreciate that as well. Big thanks to everyone who's watching on the catch-up. We always like that. I know people do watch it during the week when they're painting, so it's always good to catch up on the catch-up. And again, don't forget we are sponsored by Boards and Swords. Pop over to their web store and use the code PCP5 when you're checking out for an extra 5% off of your purchase. So
remember, if you purchase for crack on, you can use it on the day.
And you can, yes, as Martin just said, you can use the PCP5 code on the day. Looking forward to it. Right. We're almost 4 minutes of overtime, you lucky people. You.
Gosh.
Right. So as Martin said, over on his channel next week with Ian from Flags of War. I hope everyone has a great week, and we shall see you all next Monday. Take care, everybody. Sod off, Dom.